Two grown men yelling at each other on live TV. One trying to rewrite his own scandal-ridden past, the other bragging about getting shot like it was a campaign slogan. And right in the middle of that circus, Zohran Mamdani. He did something that no one saw coming. I am serious. It was the one moment that flipped the entire debate. The crowd shifted, the tone changed, and suddenly everyone watching realized, hey, this is what leadership actually looks like. Stick around, because when you see what Zohran did, you'll understand why I've got major mayoral FOMO, and why Cuomo and Curtis just proved exactly what's broken in New York politics. So here's what went down. The stage was set for a classic New York showdown. Former Governor Andrew Cuomo trying to claw his way back from disgrace. Guardian Angels founder Curtis Sliwa doing his usual loud mic routine. And Assembly member Zohran Mamdani, the youngest, calmest person in the room, standing there like he knew he didn't need to be yelling to be heard. From the first minute, Cuomo looked uncomfortable and disconnected. Every question about his record felt like a tripwire. Remember, this is the guy the state attorney general said sexually harassed nearly a dozen women. Unwanted touching, inappropriate comments, retaliation, the works. Instead of accountability, he offered deflection. That's all behind us. Sure. Then came Curtis. If Cuomo was dodging, Curtis was performing. He spent half the night interrupting everyone and the other half reminding us again that he was shot 5 times. Like, what are we supposed to do with that? It doesn't make you relatable. It just makes the debate sound like a therapy session. Meanwhile, Zohran over here talking about policy, housing, public transit, workers' rights, stuff that actually affects New Yorkers, calm, collected, full of riz, and you could feel the contrast. But here's where it flipped. 3/4 through the debate, Zohran casually mentions buying weed. Yes, legally, here in New York. He says, I did it because we should be normalizing this, not criminalizing it, and ties it straight to economic justice and how legislation should repair the harm done by the war on drugs.
Have you ever purchased anything in a cannabis shop? And if so, what did you buy, Mr. Mamdani?
I have. I have purchased marijuana at a legal cannabis shop.
Okay. Mr. Cuomo?
No.
Mr. Sliwa?
When I was shot 5 times, I've had Crohn's disease, I did use medical marijuana, yes.
That one moment, it changed everything. The audience relaxed. People laughed. And for the first time all night, it felt like a real conversation, not a shouting match. Zohran didn't posture. He connected. Cut to Curtis, trying to follow him up with, well, I was shot 5 times. And the room just deflated. Cuomo's face said it all. He couldn't believe somebody had just admitted to buying weed on camera and somehow won the debate night doing it. And that's when I realized, man, I wish I lived in New York and had that mayoral race in my ballot. Because Zohran sounded like a New Yorker, not a relic, not a brand, not a comeback story, just a person who actually gets it.
What do you believe about Hamas and how lasting peace will be achieved?
Of course, I believe that they should lay down their arms. I'm proud to be one of the first elected officials in the state who called for a ceasefire. And calling for a ceasefire means seizing fire. That means all parties have to cease fire and put down their weapons. And the reason that we call for that is not only for the end of the genocide, but also an unimpeded access of humanitarian aid. I, like many New Yorkers, am hopeful that this ceasefire will hold. I'm hopeful that it is durable. I'm hopeful that it is just. And for it to be just, we also have to ensure that it addresses the conditions that preceded this, conditions like occupation, like the siege, and apartheid. And that is what I'm hopeful for.
The Assemblyman will not denounce Hamas. He won't globalize the Intifada, which means kill all Jews.
Let's give Mr. Mamdani.
And I have been so thankful for the opportunity I've had to sit with so many Jewish New Yorkers over the course of the primary and through the general. And it's in those conversations that I learned that this phrase evokes many painful memories. Memories of bus attacks in Haifa, of restaurant attacks in Jerusalem. And I heard from a rabbi about their roommate who was killed on one of those buses. And in hearing that and the distance between that impact and the rationale that some use of saying it, of speaking about the Israeli occupation of Palestinian land, is why I said that I would discourage this language that I do not use. And what I'm looking to do as the first Muslim mayor of this city is to ensure that we bring every New Yorker together. Jewish New Yorkers, Muslim New Yorkers, every single person that calls this city home, that they understand they won't just be protected, but they will belong.
If you notice, the Assemblyman still won't say he believes that Israel has the right to exist as a Jewish state. He is a divisive personality all across the board. NYPD are racist. Barack Obama is evil, liar, and he gave the finger to the Christopher Columbus statue.
By the way, Cuomo,
Meanwhile, Cuomo's comeback is being bankrolled by Trump world billionaires like Bill Ackman and Airbnb co-founder Joe Gebbia. Yes, the same Gebbia who's part of the Trump administration. They're pouring millions into PACs called Fix the City and Defend New York City. You can't call yourself independent when your campaign is literally powered by the same donors backing Trump. So when you watch this debate, it's a case study in what's wrong with our politics. The loudest, most Cuomo-y voices keep getting rewarded. The most entitled keep getting second chances. And the most authentic keep getting underestimated. Zohran didn't yell. He didn't dodge. He didn't spin. He told the truth and trusted people to understand it. That's leadership. And that's why I never want to hear again that women are too emotional, too dramatic, or too unfit for power. Because what we just watched was two men lose their cool on stage while the youngest candidate kept his composure the entire time. It was chaos until Zohran did what he did. And for one clear moment, New York saw what real leadership could look like. If you felt that too, hit subscribe.
Stephen Miller is 410. We don't claim him. The last titty Stephen Miller he saw was his mother's. Stephen Miller is a little bitch. Stephen Miller is a little bitch. 410. I can never come home. Here's a little bitch. Hold on. Stephen Miller is a little bitch. Stephen Miller is a little bitch. He's 410. Stephen Miller is a bitch. We do not claim him. Stephen Miller is 410.
Amen.
The last titty he saw was his mother's. Deport Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller is a little bitch. Stephen Miller is 410. Other side. Yeah. Stephen Miller. Yeah. The last titty he saw was his mother's. Stephen Miller.